So let's not wait anymore. Yeah,
Mhm.
I understand that you have some queries with regards to BA role and the responsibilities. Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So would you like to ask your queries and I'll answer those?
So I just wanted to understand the difference means between business analytics and business analysis in terms of roles and responsibilities, then in terms of scope, in terms of whatever tools we use.
Okay. Sure. So the question is business analytics and business analyst, right? So
Yes,
let
correct.
me first talk about the roles and responsibilities, and then we'll talk about other things like scope and tools. Okay. So,
Mhm, mhm,
uh, what business analysts do
mhm,
is to liaise between the technology and the business.
mhm.
So
Okay.
every business will be working or using some software, some technology
Mhm,
solution for it, right?
mhm,
So
mhm, mhm,
if there is a banking domain, they will be using some application to take care of all the checks that are getting into the system, all the payments that are going out of the system. If it's an
mhm,
insurance company, they will be using some system to log the insurance policies being purchased from them, the claims they are making payments of, right? So
mhm,
if it is an individual or a shopkeeper, they might be using some system to maintain their books. Yeah, how much they have purchased, how much they have supplied. So different
mhm,
business people, right? The people who are earning, they will be using one or the other system to meet their needs. Yeah,
mhm.
not
Okay.
everything can be maintained in Excel, right? Because there will be some
Correct.
automatic processes that are happening, and some transactions going in, some information coming from some other systems. So people need to
Mhm,
integrate two systems. So they will be using some application. Now, what the business analysts do is first they are system experts. They understand how the system which they are working on that works, and then they are business experts, so they understand business, they go to business people and understand their problems. Yeah, it could be a training issue wherein a user is saying, I don't know how to use the system, can you help me out, or can you give me a demo of the system, or can you answer my question that if I have this
can you
particular
hear me,
problem.
Shubha?
Yeah, I can hear you. Am I not audible?
I believe there was a glitch.
Okay, am I audible now? Can you hear me now?
I'm not able to hear you actually.
Okay, let me go on mute and unmute again, just give me a minute. Am I audible now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Can you hear? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, Aman. Can you hear me? Would you like to drop off and join in again? Hello?
Shubha, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, I'm here.
Hello.
I can hear you, Aman. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Sorry, there was some issue at my end, so I lost you in between.
Okay, no worries. So,
I heard until integrations.
integrations. Okay. Yeah. So, what I was talking about is that there will be a system that a business person will be using. right? Now, what a business analyst will do is business analyst will go to this person and say, "What is your problem?" Yeah. Now, this person maybe uh, have is having a training issue where the person says, "I don't know how to use the system. Can you give me a demo of the system?" Yeah. Or this person may say, "I am facing this problem. I'm not able to enter this something. Can you help me out?" Yeah. Or this person can say, "This system is not meeting my current requirements. Yeah, I want to introduce or add this particular thing into the system, but this doesn't work. Can you help me build this function for me?" Yeah. Or, "I have purchased a new system. Can you configure this system as per my needs?" Yeah, so business person can have different types of problems. Can you go on mute, please? I'm hearing a lot of disturbance.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, thank you. So what I'm saying is this person can have lot of different types of problems, right? So there is no single business person. There is a group of users who's using this system, and one or the other user will be having some or the other problem in the system, or the system is not meeting their current needs and they want an enhancement to the system, or they want system to be enhanced itself in the sense that product to give them more features, like we are WhatsApp users, right? So WhatsApp is giving new features every day, or Telegram is giving new features every day. So product could be enhanced, or the system might be enhanced, or the system might be customized according to the business need. So business analyst is a person who understands business needs from the business users and take this information back to the technology people and say, this is something that we need to build up for the client. Okay.
Okay,
So business
got it.
analyst is a functional person. Now,
Okay.
if I talk about business analytics, so understand them as data analysts. Yeah. So if
Okay.
a business
Okay.
or a client is using this system, now the client leaders or the management, right? They will be like, people are entering so many records into the system. Can you analyze these records and tell me, or can you predict, can you tell me which line of business is profitable for me? Or which product is selling
Okay.
more, right? Or how much profit I have
Okay.
earned in the last year? Or can you
Okay.
give me a quarterly report telling me all the claims that have come which are more than 10 million, right? So the data
Okay.
analysis or something, it could be a pie chart kind of a thing, it could be a bar graph kind of a thing, it could be a report, right, wherein all the entries are listed out. So it could be a daily report, it could be a monthly report, or it could be an ad hoc request which I am making. Can you give me this extract of data? Or it could be a predictive analytics kind of a thing wherein you are predicting what will be the what is going to happen in future. So if I am having a losses on this one, so can you predict, will I further have losses in the next 2 years, or will I have profits coming out now? Or can you predict how much business I will do in maybe UK geography or US geography, right? So different market analysis that you do, or you basically deal with the data, right? That is the work
Okay.
of a business analytics person. This person will
Okay.
play with the data, or and give you some reports, some dashboards, some useful information out of it. Yeah, which makes sense.
Okay.
So if I say how
Correct.
much premium an insurance company is getting, so they are not interested in every single policy. So if you give them a complete list of all the policies with their premium, it won't make anything, they won't make anything out of it, right? So if you say you logged 100 policies and the total premium was 5 million, that will make sense to them,
Okay.
right? So that's the work
Okay.
business analytics person do. So they pull out the
Okay.
data, they make sense of the data, and then they give it to the management. Okay. So that's the difference between business analyst. Business analyst is dealing with the individual, or the users, and business analytics person is dealing with the management queries. Business analysis is to enhance the system, understand the functional requirements, which are new enhancements that needs to be done in the system. Business analytics is taking the data entered into the system and then making sense out of it, and giving some useful reports, or some graphs, or things out of it. Yeah, that's the uh, difference in the role. If I talk about tools, so business analysts, uh, major power or the most powerful tool for a business analyst is the domain knowledge. Yeah. So they need
Okay.
to understand the
Mhm.
domain. So if it's an insurance domain, they need to understand how insurers are doing business. If it's a banking domain, they need to understand how bankers are doing business. They need to understand the terms used in the banking domain. Yeah, they need to understand the terms used in the insurance domain, right? So if a business person is saying, can you give me gross written premium? A business analyst can't say, I don't know what do you mean by gross written premium. What is it, right? Are you looking for a sum of the premium, or are you looking for sum after the deductions are subtracted or not? So that's not a question business analyst will ask, because business analyst should know what a gross written premium is. Okay. So, or if someone is saying, give me a profit and loss report, so business analyst can't ask, okay, how do you create a profit and loss report? They should know what a profit and loss report is, and how you can create one, right? So that's the expertise. So domain is the most powerful expertise for a business analyst. For a business analytics person, the expertise will be in the tools they use. So Power BI is one tool, SQL is one tool. So the tools which help them extract data and give them a logical output from this extracts. People use Python, Tableau, Power BI, right? So these reporting tools. So that's the tool which is being used by business analytics person. Business analyst will write user stories. Business analyst will log these user stories into tools like Jira or TFS or DevOps or other tools available in the market. They might even note down these user stories in a Word or an Excel file as well. Business analyst will use Visio, Balsamic kind of a tool to create wireframes. They'll use Visio to create diagrams, flowcharts. Yeah, so anything that helps them communicate with the business person to make or to understand what a business person is saying. All those tools will be used by business analyst. Business analytics will deal with the tools that will help them crunch the data. Any questions so far? You're still with me, Amin? Hello. Aman, you have dropped off. I'm sending you the invite. Please accept that. Yes, I can hear you now. Okay. So, were you able to listen to me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
There was
Yeah.
some issue with my speaker, but I was able to hear you.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Mhm.
So any questions so far?
No, no, no. I'm good.
Okay. Now, so next question was on the scope, right? So what I
Yes,
understand
correct.
is in terms of career progression, right? So
Yes.
scope is good for both. I'll say it's almost equal, right?
Hmm.
What
Hmm.
person needs to do, so a person can succeed in any business, any role, any designation, as long as the
Hmm.
person is good in their work, right? If you're not good in your work, you can't succeed. That's
Hmm.
straightforward as that, right? So if you are
Okay.
good in your work, you can you can be a very good developer, you can be a very good tester, you can make your career in business analyst role, you can make your career in business analytics role. So no role is bad. Yeah, it's not like
Mhm.
there are roles which don't give you any money, right? So if you are in
Mhm.
IT, you are in IT, right? So it doesn't matter whether you are a developer or a tester, or it's not like you can't succeed, right? So from even if you are in testing profile, you can become a test lead or testing teams manager, right? So uh, career is always there for people who work hard, for people who work smart. Yeah, so people who are good in their job. So I will never say, this go for business analysis, don't go for business analytics. Yeah, but if someone has to make a decision, right, which role is more suitable for them, then I'll say if you can talk to people, right? If you're good in English, if you're good in different languages like maybe French, Canadian, or other languages, if you are a person who is confident, right? If you are a person who can say no, then you can go for business analysis profile. But if you are a person who is not an extrovert kind of a person and more like an introvert, right, who doesn't like to talk to different people, then maybe analytics is a better suited profile for you. But that doesn't mean that because you are not talking to people, or you need not talk to the people, you need to talk to maybe management group and understand what their needs are. So it's not like you are not talking. In fact, you will be talking to some high profile people as in business analytics profile, right? But the count of people you interact with may be much lesser than the count of people that you interact with as a business analyst. So if you are an extrovert or a more confident person who can speak, who has good communication skills, a business analysis profile will be better suited for you. If you are not, maybe data business analyst techs or data analysis, is the role which you should go for. Yeah, but as long as you are good in your job, your career will progress for sure. It's not like one role is better than the other. Yeah. Any more questions, Aman? I can't hear you. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
So yes, I can hear you now.
Actually, I have seen in some of the projects that few of my
Hmm.
colleagues are working on, so they are only fulfilling the responsibilities of both business analyst and business analytics. So does this happen, does this happen more frequently with BAs, or is it like company specific only?
Yeah. So there are some BAs that work for the on the reporting side as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, but that does not make them business analytics person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So reports are there
Hmm.
in all the many of the applications we talked about. So I talked about banking systems and insurance systems, for example, or e-commerce systems, right?
Hmm.
So many people will be dealing with the reports.
Okay.
So because they will be looking. So you have to understand that if there is a main system and
Hmm.
you are dealing with reports in that main system. Yeah,
Okay.
so the reports which are built up in that system, then you are on a business analysis side. Yeah,
Okay.
so these are the reports which are standard reports. Yeah,
Okay.
profit and loss report, or balance sheets, or gross written premium report. So these are the reports which are standard coming out of the system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Business analytics is more wherein your data will go to some downstream system. And
Hmm.
on top of that downstream system, there is a Power BI kind of a tool, and
Okay.
you are dealing more with ad hoc reporting or market analysis kind of a work. Then your profile is a business analytics profile.
Okay.
Okay. So both people are dealing with reports, but it's okay to call them business analysis as analysts as long as they're dealing with the main system. But if they're dealing with the downstream system, the system which takes out data from the main system, then maybe you are in analytics side. If you're dealing with ad hoc reporting, wherein a person is saying, Today I want to see this data, tomorrow I want to see that data, yeah, or give me a future prediction," that's a analytics profile. But if you're
Okay.
dealing with standard reports which are coming out of the system, that's business analysis profile.
Okay.
Yeah, so some BAs do get these responsibilities as well.
Okay.
But because they are dealing with the main system, they understand the main system as well, and at any point in time they can switch over to the mainstream BA role, yeah, wherein you are dealing with people to understand how they are going to use the system.
Okay.
But if you are on the analytics side, if you
Mm-hmm.
are just looking into the database, you don't even know the functions of the main system, right? The workflows used, do you understand the term workflow? Do you understand the term workflow?
Yeah, yeah, I do understand.
Yeah. So
Yes.
if you understand the workflow, you are business analyst. If you do not understand the workflow and you are just dealing with the data or the table entries, then you are
Mm-hmm.
business analytics.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Makes sense.
Mhm.
So can we say like data analytics and business analytics more or less they both are same only?
Yeah, they are same. Data
Okay.
analysts. Uh, so previously they used to call it data analysts,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But people used to think it's, oh, we will be dealing with data, and that in their mind it was more like a data entry kind of a role, wherein someone will give you some sheets and you are just making data and
Mm-hmm.
data entries into the system, right? So data analyst people didn't find the term very suitable. Plus there was new analytics tool that came into the market, and they said, okay, now Power BI is there, you can create your dashboards, you can create these reports, you can do this, you can do that. So analytics was taking a trend. So
Okay.
then they started calling these people, instead of data analysts, they started calling these people as business analytics.
Okay.
But now many organizations, they do not understand the difference between business analyst and business analytics. So
Okay.
what they do is they give that designation as business analyst
Mm-hmm.
to a person who is doing an analytics job,
Okay.
because broadly people understand BA, dev, and QC,
Correct.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you talk about QC, there is a manual tester and there is an automation tester, right?
Correct.
So an automation tester might be creating some scripts or
Mm-hmm.
some things to automate the process, right? They,
Mm-hmm.
they might be doing some coding behind the scenes.
Correct.
They are not manual testers, right? So
Yes.
there is a difference. But if you the people who are selling these jobs, right, the HR people or the consultants, they don't understand these differences. So
Mm-hmm.
you know and moreover, people think that dev, BA, QC are the three main roles in the organization, and maybe a project manager or program manager. And then within a BA, they think business analyst is a role or a designation people prefer,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if I say something business analytics, I don't know why, but people have somewhere in their mind that I'm getting a lesser designation than what I should have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they prefer business analyst as a designation, and that's why no one. So business analyst is a designation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Business analytics is a work stream, but it's not a designation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Okay.
understand the difference? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is they give the designation as business analyst, but the work stream is business analytics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so your designations are something like project manager, program manager, right? Or a developer or a tester. So those are designations. So similarly, business analyst is a designation, but which stream you are working on, right? So that differs and that matters a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So if we talk about developer, so someone will be .NET developer, someone will be C# developer or a Java developer, like that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that matters a lot. You can't hire a Java developer for a .NET project.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can, but you won't, right? If you're looking for some senior or experienced person. So similarly, as a business analyst, when we hire, we have to be very cautious whether we are looking at a business analytics profile or a business analyst profile. So we ask few questions from the people, and then we try to get what actual their role is. Yeah, make sense.
Can you hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Also, in some of the companies, I have seen like the BAs are involved in writing SQL scripts as well, right? So wherever the BAs they are involved in writing SQL scripts, so they call them as tech BAs, right? Or technical BAs. But even in my company during my last appraisal, so my manager reached out to me asking whether you would like to go into tech BA role or a functional BA role. So I just asked him that what is the difference between these two terms, means tech BA and functional BA. So he said like if you opt for functional BA as a career, then in that case you will go into consultant kind of a role and then domain experts kind of, maybe you get expertise in some particular domain like insurance or banking, and then you become expert in that particular domain, right? And for tech BA, he
Yeah.
was saying like maybe you will have to do some coding and you will have to get involved with data kind of means like AWS, then Python. You'll have to do some certifications. So just thought of asking once, is that the thing or there is something else as well?
Yeah. So ideally, if I talk ideally, a BA is always functional.
Okay.
Yeah. So BA is a domain expert. As I said, domain is the most powerful tool in a BA's kitty.
Hmm.
So uh, function BAs are always functional, but
Okay.
some companies what they try to do is they try to cut corners and they ask their developers to go and they don't hire BAs. They ask their developers to go and talk to the business person, and they directly deal with business, and then they start calling them as a business analyst or
Okay.
a techno functional BA. Yeah,
Okay.
because the developer is doing the coding as well, and the
Hmm.
developer is dealing with the developer is doing both the roles, right? BA role and a development role. So they start
Hmm.
calling these people as techno BA.
Hmm.
Another thing that happens is there are certain projects or some applications in the system in the market which are highly configurable. Yeah.
Okay.
So if I take an insurance example, so we have Guidewire, we have Duck Creek. So
Hmm.
these are they're the major leaders in the market, and their systems are so much configurable that there are people who are just doing the configurations for the client.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
not every configuration is available in the UI, but it's not every configuration is do you want this or do you want that? Some of the configurations need some coding as well, right? So
Okay.
if I say I want to implement a business rule in the system that if this amount is more than this amount,
Hmm.
then give me a warning to the user, right? So
Hmm.
there those kind of scenarios you may have to do some coding as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so these they start call they are usually known as implementation engineers, and again that is a techno functional kind of a role.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
there are some projects in the market wherein they are code heavy, that
Hmm.
everything is there, but
Hmm.
it's there in the code, and they expect the BAs to understand that code and
Hmm.
maybe make the direct changes into the code so that to fulfill the needs of the business
Hmm.
earlier than what time it will take them to write a user story, give it to the developer,
Okay.
right? So right now there is a time involved. So what a functional BA does is they understand the requirements from the client, then they write a user story, then they do a grooming, they take approvals on the story. So there is a time involved, right? But
Hmm.
if the BA need not go to the developer and they themselves can do the changes in the system for
Hmm.
based on the client needs, it will save them a lot of time from
Correct.
management perspective.
Hmm.
Yeah, so they call them as techno functional BA role.
Okay.
Another variety which comes to mind is that some projects are wherein a BA does need to do some analysis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, for example, I remember a case where we developed some feature for the client.
Hmm.
Yeah. But
Hmm.
client was like, what will happen if I go live? Can you run this feature onto my live data.
Okay.
So we took a copy of that data
Mhm.
into our support environment, and we ran that, function
Okay.
on top of it.
Okay.
And it the idea was to do a matching of two things. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, how much money was supposed to come in and how much money has actually come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So once we did the matching, there was only 30% match.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then the client was like, the match is very less. Why will I take, this feature? I don't need this feature for just doing 30% match.
Mhm.
Yeah. If rest of the 70% I have to do myself, why will I
Mhm.
take this feature? I'll do it
Co-
myself only.
Correct. Mhm.
Yeah. Or I'll look for some other solution. This match is not
Mhm.
very good.
Correct.
So that time, what I did was I went into the data
Mhm.
and I started running some scripts on that data.
Okay.
It was not like I know something that I can ask a developer to give to me, right?
Mhm.
I myself don't know what I am looking for.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
when I started playing around with the data, I took out some pieces of the data and I was like, okay, this is out of your 1,000 records, or out of your 100 records, so many
Mhm.
percentage of records are belonging to this particular thing which we have specifically excluded, or
Okay.
kept out of scope of this function.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So 20% has already gone as out of scope items.
Uh-huh.
Then rest of 80%, if we implement these two or three more rules
Mhm.
to match the data,
Mhm.
right,
Mhm.
then your matching percentage will increase from 30% to 60%, let's
Okay.
say, or
Mhm.
65%.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then there was some these are the places I found where the data itself is corrupt.
Okay.
Yeah. You have logged a premium in USD, but you're getting a amount in pounds.
Okay.
So system won't match a USD into a pound, right? Your
Correct.
data entry itself is wrong. So
Correct.
that percentage is also going, or a bad data it is, right?
Mhm.
So I did this analysis for my client as part of my functional requirements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I gave it to them
Mhm.
because it is not something which I could have requested from a developer, because I myself don't know what I'm looking for, right?
Correct.
So that that is sometimes people prefer a techno functional BA role who can also run some scripts, or who can also analyze the data,
Mhm.
right? Sometimes when I deal with the client, right, and
Mhm.
I say, you have this information, another example is, I said, you have this option in
Mhm.
your system A,
Mhm.
do you want this option in system B as well? And the
Okay.
client was like, oh, I'm not aware of this option. Can you tell me how many times I have used this option?
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then instead of going to the developer, trying to tell him what to do, I can myself go into the system and I can see, take an extract out and I can say, okay, you have used this option 10 times only,
Okay.
in the last 3 years. Do you
Mhm.
still want this option, or can we, remove it if you are not using it,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
So that's where your technical skills will also come in handy,
Okay.
even if you are a functional BA.
Okay.
So that's the role a techno-functional person do. But
Mhm.
if they are asking or expecting you to learn Python, or different tools like that,
Mhm.
then that's more like a role which I talked about first, wherein you are a
Mhm.
developer
Correct.
and you are just directly dealing with the client.
Mhm. Makes sense.
But if tomorrow you go to the market and you say, I am a business analyst, they
Mhm.
won't count you in, because you might not have written the user stories yourself.
Correct.
Yeah. Or you
Mhm.
have not, the functional BA is the proper BA role.
Mhm.
Techno functional BA, you know, only very, if there is a particular requirement of a technical person,
Mhm.
then only you'll get an
Mhm.
opening, or a interview call. But
Mhm.
otherwise, most probably you won't. So don't go for technical BA role. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not an actual role, or I won't say it's a standard role. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just a role which people have come up, like they have come up with business analytics and they have given them business analyst role, when
Mhm.
actually they are not actual business analyst, right? So
Correct.
again, techno functional BA is something, a role people have come up with to suit their project
Mhm.
requirements or their particular, in time needs.
Mhm.
That's not a proper role.
Okay.
Functional BA is a proper role. Domain expert is a proper role. Subject matter expert is a proper role.
Mhm. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, I have heard from few guys like the difference between this Scrum Master and PO role, right? So means from few of them I have heard like both are technical roles, means Scrum Master and PO. And PO is mostly from the client side, and Scrum Master is mostly from the means actual Scrum Master is from the vendor side, right? But from few of the guys I have heard like both are functional roles. So I just wanted to understand means what is the difference between this? Means I do understand the roles and responsibilities which a Scrum Master and a product owner has to play or has to fulfill. But I just wanted to understand means what are the basic requirements in order to become a product owner or a Scrum Master.
Mhm. Okay, so let's understand the roles first.
Mhm.
Okay, so earlier there was only waterfall. There was no agile whatsoever.
Mhm.
Okay,
Correct.
when I started my career journey 10, 20 years back.
Mhm.
So that time, everyone was talking about waterfall. Okay,
Mhm.
even prior to that, there was no methodology or framework in place at all. Yeah, I remember when I started my career, people said we have come up with a new model and it's a waterfall model, and learn it, understand it. And they used to ask questions in interview. Do you follow waterfall model? What is it? What are the stages of a waterfall model, right? So that was something new that came up. And as part of the waterfall model, they defined these different phases. And they said, first one is a planning phase, which a project manager will do. Second one is an analysis phase, which a BA will be leading. Then there will be a development phase, which a technical architect will be leading. Then there will be a testing phase where a testing team member will come into picture. And then there will be a deployment phase where release manager will lead. Yeah. Yeah. You still there?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. So that time, 20 years back, or not 20, maybe 15, 18 years back. So that
Mhm.
time, Waterfall was there, and they came up with the roles like project manager and a business analyst and a developer and a tester.
Mhm.
Now, 10 years or so back, they said enough with the waterfall. Let's come up with the new methodology, and that's agile.
Okay.
Yeah, and within agile, we'll create different type of agile, Scrum, Kanban, and Express programming and other things.
Okay.
And then, sorry, extreme programming. And then within Scrum, they said, oh, we can't use the terms which were there in the waterfall, because otherwise people will confuse waterfall and Scrum.
Okay.
So we'll come up with new terms.
Okay.
Yeah, and they said Scrum Master. So
Okay.
Scrum Master was equivalent to a project manager.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Mhm.
they came up with the role PO or
Okay.
a product owner.
Okay.
Yeah, it was equivalent to a BA.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so point new terms, but
Mhm.
now what happened was people start getting confused.
Mhm.
Yeah, because some people were working in waterfall and some people were working in Scrum.
Correct.
Yeah, so they were like, I am a BA or am I a PO?
Okay.
Yeah, so the agile or the Scrum was essentially created for very small teams. Yeah, so they
Okay.
said we'll have 7-member team or a 10-member team maximum.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was not suited for bigger projects.
Okay.
Then they came up with okay, divide your project into different Scrum teams, and then we'll have this safe and other things. They
Mhm.
started building up on top of that.
Okay.
But uh, then this said, by definition, we said there will be one business person or a functional person who will make the decisions.
Okay.
But if your product is a bigger product,
Okay.
right, and you have, let's say, 10 Scrum teams working on the same product,
Okay.
you can't have 10 POs,
Mhm. Correct.
right?
Mhm.
You need one PO, so one owner of the product.
Okay.
So then they started having this differentiation wherein there will be one product owner, and
Mhm.
under that product owner there will be different Scrum teams, and within these Scrum teams, individual BAs will work either as a pseudo product owner or as a feature owner, or
Mhm.
whatever you call.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
Okay.
product owner is essentially a person who is making decisions for the product functionalities.
Okay.
Yeah, and then later on they came up with the term like product manager as well.
Yes.
So
Correct.
product manager, yeah, because product owners were like, now we are product owners, what next? We don't have a career path.
Mhm.
Yeah, give us a career path. So
Mhm.
then they said, okay, will hire one more person under you, and will
Mhm.
make you product manager, right? Because people as think that being a manager is something very good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this they started making a product owners and as product managers. So
Okay.
they said, okay, now you decide what features will be there in the product.
Okay.
Yeah. And product owner will take care of the functionalities.
Okay. Okay.
What functionalities to develop,
Mhm.
or how to solutionize it.
Okay.
So you will say, I want a feature in product to maybe do allow people to purchase something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then product owner will say, okay, if you go to this screen, there will be an option there. You click on this option, you can add menu items to the cart, you can make a payment there, right? So all these functionalities, product owner will decide.
Okay.
Yeah, product manager will only say, I want this function to sell
Okay.
things. Yeah.
Okay.
And then product owner was like, I am product owner, I have so many things, right? How can I deal with 10 different teams?
Mhm.
So I'll have BAs
Okay.
working for me, and
Mhm.
BAs will write user stories, and they'll come up with for approval and all.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So if we understand how things have developed over a
Mhm.
period of time, we'll understand it's just a way of making people happy.
Mhm. Got it.
So many companies, where senior BAs are there. So 10 year, 20 years
Mhm.
experience are there.
Yes.
Yeah, people are there like me. And
Mhm.
I'm like, how long I'll stay as a BA, right? What do you expect? So after 20 years, I'm also doing the same work which I was doing 10 years back,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not
Mhm.
happy.
Mhm.
So then organization said, okay, we'll give you, we'll make you product owner. So
Okay.
and people started becoming happy. I am a product
Mhm.
owner. I own something, right? And
Mhm.
after 5 years down the line, product owner will be like, oh, how long will I be a product owner? I'm not seeing a career path, right?
Mhm.
Where will I go next? Then
Mhm.
the managers, they're very uh, smart people, right? So they'll be like, oh, don't worry, we'll make you product manager.
Okay.
And I won't be surprised if tomorrow there will be another role in the market which is even above product manager, because
Mhm.
people need somewhere to grow, right? people
Mhm.
uh, people need to feel happy,
Yeah.
and
Correct.
they can't grow everyone vertically, because every organization has few levels, right?
Correct. Correct.
So if I take example of my previous organization, we used to have levels 1 to 7,
Okay.
right? If I'm already at level 5,
Mhm.
right, and my company's CEO is at level 7,
Mhm.
why will they give me level 6?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if I get level 6, where will all these VPs and other people will go?
Correct. Correct.
Right?
Mhm.
So they can't give you, or because otherwise they will be, every 3 years they will have to promote people.
Mhm.
And
Correct.
people think from the government job perspective that I'm increasing in rank, and people feel, or think promotion as a career progression.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. So Indian mentality, people don't see the horizontal growth. Yeah,
Okay.
people see the vertical growth.
Mhm.
I talked about it last time also. So, to make people happy, they have given different roles altogether, right?
Mhm.
So, a project manager is an equivalent to Scrum Master. And
Okay.
now they said project manager was authoritative figure. You do this, you do
Mhm.
this, you'll do
Correct.
that, right?
Correct.
But now people don't appreciate that. People have become smart, right? Young people have come into picture.
Mhm.
They have access to all the media and social media, and they start, making videos and complaining about their bosses and all. So
Mhm.
they said, don't be authoritative. You are a servant leader. Yeah. So be a servant to your team.
Okay.
So that's how your job is not to dictate to people what to do, but
Mhm.
your job is to solve their problems so that they can do their work, right?
Mhm.
Or to remove the blockers.
Mhm. Okay.
So they converted a project manager into a scrum master.
Okay.
They
Mhm.
increased a BA, or to make them happy as a product owners,
Okay.
and product managers are going forward, but it's all one and the same thing. um,
Mhm.
I remember you mentioned one more thing, that someone was telling you that client side is the PO role.
Yes. Correct.
So that does happen
Mhm.
if there is a client involved. Yeah.
Okay.
So if we say product owner, right?
Okay.
So just understand there are two words, product
Mhm.
and owner.
Owner.
The one who owns the product.
Correct.
If I talk about product,
Mhm.
no no client can dictate what the product should be,
Correct.
ideally.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
if I'm using WhatsApp, I can't say you develop this feature for me.
Mhm.
Yeah. If I'm
Correct.
using Telegram or if I'm using X, I
Mhm.
can't say develop X in this way. Yeah. I
Correct.
can only recommend. I can
Mhm.
only give my needs.
Mhm.
I can only tell them, if you can give me this feature, it will be good for me.
Mhm.
But a client can never own a product, or they
Okay.
should not own a product.
Okay.
But most of the time, or many times it doesn't happen.
Mhm.
Yeah. Some products which are which have very few clients. So if there is a product which is being used by one or two clients only,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
now if the client says I want this feature, product will develop and give that feature for them, right?
Mhm.
They won't say no, because otherwise the client will leave them as well.
Correct.
Yeah, and all the effort they have money they have entered into the product will be lost.
Mhm.
So what they say, the client will dictate what the product is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, if client is dictating what the product is, client will say, I will bring my product owner
Okay. Okay.
who will own your product.
Okay.
So vendor, even if a product company is there, the vendor will just become a note taker, right? So the PO or the decision making authority, client retains by themselves
Okay.
by bringing in a product owner.
Mhm.
Yeah, they can hire a new person for it, or they can ask one of their business users to, step into this role,
Mhm.
apart from their other duties and all. So, but that's a client decision, right? So if
Okay.
client is saying, I am owning the product and I am telling you what to do, then
Mhm.
client will have a product owner. But in ideal scenario, product should say, no, who are you to dictate to me what to do? Yeah,
Mhm.
product, a good product will say, I am creating this,
Mhm.
and you will get this feature
Mhm.
down the line, or if you're
Mhm.
looking for this feature, you have to wait for 5 years. Yeah, or I'll give you this feature in 5 years or something like that. Yeah. But most of the time that doesn't happen. The ideal world doesn't happen most of the time.
Mhm.
Most of the time, clients will be dictating the products.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. And then they'll bring their
But
POs.
ideally, it should be from the vendor side only, right?
No, it doesn't matter,
Okay.
right? As long
Depends.
as yeah, it's just a uh, role and responsibility, right?
Okay. Okay.
What role the person is
Mhm.
performing and what responsibilities or what authorities the person is given.
Okay.
It doesn't matter whether it's from the client side or the from the vendor side, right?
Okay. Okay.
But again, if there is a client PO,
Mhm.
yeah, they won't be owning the product still.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll be owning the implementation part.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they'll be saying, I want this configuration, or I want this values to be there, or this implementation to be there. But
Mhm.
it's it's not like we have so many roles in the market which will suit each and every product's needs or
Mhm.
project's needs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Scrum only gives you one role, PO role.
Okay.
Yeah. So PO role is given to a person, irrespective of whether it's a client side or a vendor side,
Okay.
who is liaising between business and technology. Yeah,
Okay.
the same role the BA does.
Mhm. Okay. So PO, product manager, and this BA, this is more like a functional role, and Scrum Master and project manager, it's more like a technical role, right?
Not exactly technical, it's more like a management role.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, where you are managing people, you are doing people management, stakeholder management, client management.
So even the
So,
BAs can
Scrum
also
Master,
become Scrum Master.
if you are becoming as a BA, you are going into a Scrum Master role, then it's a role transition. It's not a vertical progression of your role.
Okay.
Yeah, you're transitioning from one role to another. So many testers, for example, come into BA role.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yes.
they are changing the role altogether. They are
Yes.
not going to a test lead or a test manager kind of a role, right? So one is career progression, where you are doing a vertical growth. Yeah, you're going from a tester to a test lead, and then to maybe a test manager who is leading multiple test leads. Yeah, that's a vertical progression. But if a tester is going into a BA role, that's a career transition. They're changing their career. So if similarly, if a BA is going into Scrum Master role, which is more like a management role, they are changing their career. Yeah, it's not a vertical progression. So you can go for a scrum master role. There is no no one stopping you.
Mhm.
And many organizations, what happen is that there are not many people and there is a BA who is doing a good job, and they'll ask the BA to become or step into the scrum master shoes as well. Yeah,
Mhm.
or do a dual responsibility of being a BA as well as a scrum master.
But
But I see it
mhm.
as a conflict of interest. Yeah,
Okay.
if you are doing both a PO role and a scrum master role and a BA role, right, you
Mhm.
won't be able to justify everything.
But
So it's a conflict of interest. Yeah.
but in one of my projects, I have seen like a Scrum Master allocating story points as well, right? So in case of allocation, means in case a Scrum Master is supposed to allocate story points, then he should have some technical knowledge as well, right? About that particular user story. And I believe only the tech peoples do have knowledge, means on technical side.
Yeah. So allocation of story points, right,
Hmm.
is it's a teamwork,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So how what Scrum says is go into a room,
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
and understand the story, give story to everyone, make them understand, and ask everyone to estimate the work involved.
Okay.
Yeah, and whatever is the majority go for. You can take those many as the story points. So
Okay.
you must have heard of playing
Yes.
poker, right? I'm
Yes.
explaining.
Yes. Yes. Correct.
So yeah, whatever is the majority go for, that's the
Yeah.
story points. And
Correct.
if there's major difference, one is
Hmm.
saying one and other is saying 30,
Yeah.
then they will put points in, and then they'll redo the exercise. How many points? Or it's a team
Hmm.
effort.
Correct.
Yeah, Scrum Master is not giving story points. Scrum Master
Okay.
is supposed to take the inputs from
Mm-hmm.
BA, from testing team, and from developers, and club those inputs and then give the story points. That's
Also,
the role of a Scrum Master.
also in my previous project, my lead used to ask me that, as per you, what should be the story points for this particular user story? Since I am a BA and I am fully functional, right? So in that case, how will I be able to estimate story points for a particular user story since I'm not very much aware on the technical side of that particular functionality?
Yeah. So understand this, right? So the story points are usually done in Fibonacci series,
Yes,
right?
correct.
One is the least or the smallest bit,
Hmm.
right?
Correct.
Then comes maybe a two story points, then
Hmm.
comes three, then comes a five, then
Hmm.
comes eight, like that, right?
Hmm.
It's a Fibonacci series. And most of the project teams say maximum 13 story points, because anything beyond 13 story points, we will not be able to include that in a sprint.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the maximum.
Hmm.
So, as a QA, even if you don't know the technical bits,
Hmm.
right, but at least you know how small this thing is,
Okay.
right? If you are saying this is just a label change, of
Okay.
course, that's a one story point, right? You
Correct.
can't charge 13 story points for one label change. And
Hmm.
if someone is saying it's a 13 story point story, you have to challenge that, even if you are not giving story points, right?
Hmm.
So, sometimes managers don't ask me, to give the story points. They ask dev team to give the story points, and
Hmm.
dev team gives the story points. But as a BA, when I look at those story points, I sometimes go to them and challenge them. Why you are giving so many story points? It's
Okay.
just a small this thing,
Hmm.
yeah. Or this is the logic I am thinking, or this is the solution I am thinking in my mind.
Hmm.
Are you also looking at the same solution, or there is something else in your hand?
Okay.
Yeah, if I think it's a five story points and they are giving eight, I,
Hmm.
I say okay, you have a better authority of the story points.
Okay.
But if I say one and they are giving 13, then
Hmm.
of course I will also go and challenge them, right? Why is it 13 story points?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not like story points is something that only a dev can
Okay.
give, right? It's a collective effort of a BA, dev, as well as testing team. Some
Okay.
stories are extensive in analysis, but
Hmm.
easy to implement, right?
Okay.
So sometimes the client will not be able to decide what they want, and you'll have so many to and fro's, and so many conversations. So
Hmm.
some requirements are analysis heavy,
Okay.
and when they go to development, it's like just introduce one box.
Hmm. Okay.
But for that one box, you might have 10 days of discussion with the client. Yeah.
Hmm.
Sometimes what happens is most of the stories are dev heavy.
Okay.
Yeah, so you understand requirements and you note down the requirements. It will take you just one maybe 5 minutes to write one line that
Hmm.
system should do this.
Hmm.
Yeah, but think from dev perspective, they need to open the code, see the implications, do the unit testing, create the tech design document. So they'll take more effort. Yeah.
Mhm.
So some most of the stories are like where dev takes most of the time, and 30% of the time is taken by BA, and 30% of that time is taken by QC as a standard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then there are some stories which are very easy to write and
Okay.
very easy to develop, but they're testing heavy.
Mhm.
Yeah, so testing team will have to do the regression testing of the entire system,
Correct.
or you are making changes in one area, but they have to check out all the
Mhm.
associated integrations and all the associated systems.
Correct.
So some stories are testing heavy because they have to run so many different scenarios,
Mhm.
and in that also we tell them, okay, create a mix and match.
Okay.
So don't test each and everything into onto each and every type of screen, right?
Okay.
Most of the functionality will be same. So do a random testing kind of thing. Test
Okay.
one bit into one instance, second thing into second instance. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's story points is not something that a single person can give,
Okay.
right? Or technical person can give.
Mhm.
Story point is something which everyone participates and give.
Okay.
And Scrum Master has to bring everyone into the same room,
Mhm.
have everyone into the same on the same table,
Okay.
and then make them all agree on one thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And sometimes I've seen cases where testing team says, uh, dev team has given the story points, but don't, most of the time, we also say to save our effort, and, testing team also say to save their effort is, okay, whatever efforts dev has give, just apply 30% of that and give to us. Yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
And we'll do the testing in that much effort, 30, 35, or 40%. But sometimes QC says no, because this is a testing heavy work, I'm going to give my own estimates.
Okay.
Yeah, so it depends on project to project, but
Mhm.
Scrum Master has to take inputs from all the people. They just try to save time if they are taking inputs from one person or the other.
Mhm.
And what they will do is, if you are saying it's one story point and this one is five story points, they'll add your efforts, and then they'll extrapolate. They'll say, okay, 130% is dev effort, and 50% is QC effort, like that. So
Okay.
they'll just apply some figures on that. So they'll save their time,
Mhm.
asking each and every person.
Mhm.
So small work, small projects, they'll, just put some numbers. Sometimes the projects are fixed cost projects, right? So irrespective of how many story points you are putting in, they are going to charge the same amount. Yeah. It doesn't even matter how much story points you are asking for. So depends from project to project. Yeah. Hello. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I was saying like whatever the tools, technologies and methodologies we use in a particular project, so is it taken care by the client or is it decided by the means vendor based on the availability of tools and based on the availability of resources who have expertise in those tools and technologies?
What do you mean?
No, if
So
suppose I'm working on a agile project, right? It's agile driven.
mhm.
And the technology which we are using is the front end is React and the back end is Python, right? So I just want to understand, and even the BA, the tool which he is using for writing user stories, suppose it's Jira, right? So I'm asking like the tools and the technologies which the team is using. So is it decided by the client or by the vendor?
Most of the time, it's recommended by the vendor, yeah,
Okay.
because they are more familiar with it. But
Mhm.
sometimes the client comes up with their own ideas as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So all these things will be decided in the planning phase itself.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm sometimes I'm during implementation, people do end up using two systems as well.
Okay.
So if I take an example, okay, not let me take that. Sorry, I can't take that example because I'll be exposing confidential information. But yeah, so it will be like, my organization, or
Mhm.
the product I am using, right?
Mhm.
My team is using one system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
but the client is using some other system for some other project. But
Okay.
now when they're collaborating with me,
Mhm.
they are saying I am comfortable using my system, right?
Mhm.
So you note down the information in my system.
Okay.
But what a BA will do is once that information is finalized and approved,
Mhm.
they'll make a copy of it in
Mhm.
the vendor system as well, because dev team can only access vendor system.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes double work also happens.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
most of the time, if both of them are having same access, all these systems to be used, all these tools to be used, everything is decided during the planning phase.
Okay.
And if there is a product, right? So
Mhm.
there are two types of projects. So earlier, use people used to develop their in-house
Mhm.
projects. Right
Mhm.
now, people are more inclined to take a product solutions,
Okay.
but still many people are creating their in-house systems. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
if a client is using in-house system, they can say, I want these functionalities. And then a technical architect will say, your functionalities can only be met by this technology. Yeah.
Mhm.
Other technology cannot support it.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. But sometimes if they are taking a product, right,
Mhm.
you are not going to change the technology of the product to suit a client requirements.
Correct.
If a product is made in Java, you won't give a .NET solution to the client,
Mhm.
right?
Correct. Correct.
It's Java, so they have to take it. So all these things are sorted out during the planning phase itself. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Makes sense.
At the start of the project or
Mhm.
discovery phase.
Mhm. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Got your point.
Hmm. What else?
Can you suggest some domain specific courses for the BAs? Because I tried Googling it but didn't find anything useful. I mean, for BFSI like banking, then finance, insurance, retail, supply chain, means is there any institute which is offering domain specific courses other than Udemy or Coursera?
Yeah. So domain is a knowledge which is very difficult to come by.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And the reason is there is no standardization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So if there is a business, let's understand this like this, right?
Hmm.
So if there is a shopkeeper,
Hmm.
yeah, that shopkeeper is keeping track of things in one particular manner.
Okay.
And then there is another shopkeeper. You cannot expect this shopkeeper to also track their business in the same manner. Most of the things will be same, but there will be some variations as well,
Hmm.
right?
Correct.
So not two things are alike. Yeah.
Hmm.
So Amazon and Flipkart, although they give same functionalities, but they are not same sites,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
The navigation may be different, the options may be different, the workflows may be different. Yeah. So the search options are different, the results are different. So many differences will be there,
Hmm.
even if the same the base is same.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's why the business or a domain knowledge becomes very specific
Hmm.
information, and most of the people learn it on the job only. Yeah,
Okay.
when they interact with business people.
Hmm.
So if you are not interacting with business people, right, so there is no way I can uh, you know showcase, or I can tell you some concepts for it, but you
Hmm.
won't remember that.
Hmm.
You will only remember that when some client will say something to you, and you have to note it down, and you will have to work out what it does and how to do it, and to create a solution for it.
Hmm.
Only then things will start making sense to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So one thing that is very good to learn domain is the certifications that particular domain offers.
Okay.
Yeah. So some domains which are like insurance, banking, they do offer some. There are some certifications in the market, right?
Okay.
So take hold of that certification book and go through it. That will
Okay.
give you very good domain understanding and domain knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, you need not take the certification exam. I'm not saying you have to pay money and
Mm-hmm.
take the certification exam,
Mm-hmm.
but you can definitely go through the certification books. They
Mm-hmm.
will clarify most, or one thing they'll do is they'll clarify some of the important concepts.
Okay.
Second thing they'll do is they'll give you a structured way of learning.
Okay.
Yes, this information you should see first, and then the other information you should see second, because second is dependent on the first one, or the first step takes precedence, like that, right? So they'll structure the course.
Mm-hmm.
So certifications are a good way of learning. Second thing you mentioned would be Coursera. There might be some courses out there. I have not taken any,
Mhm.
but there might be some courses out there which will be helpful, and maybe even YouTube also you will find some videos. Yeah.
Mhm.
Third thing that you can do is search for the glossary. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you say insurance glossary
Mhm.
or you
Okay.
say banking glossary,
Mhm.
yeah. So there are some sites available
Mhm.
which will only give you one word and explain that word for you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's a word and meaning
Mhm.
kind of a thing, right?
Okay.
But again, if there are 200 words out there, will you learn those 200 words?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Correct.
And how many of them you will understand?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a real challenge.
Mhm.
So same goes with the reading as the certification book I said, or same thing is going with the course.
Okay.
You will do do a watching, or you watch that course for some time, and then you will forget about it because you're not using it.
Mhm.
Yeah, until you apply the knowledge,
Mhm.
that knowledge does not retains with you, and that's a
Correct.
hard fact. Yeah.
Correct.
So if
Yes.
I do 1 hour course,
Mhm.
within next 30 minutes, you will forget about it, 20% of it.
Mhm.
Within a day, you will forget about 50% of it, right?
Correct.
So by the end of 10 days, you won't remember a thing.
Mhm.
But if immediately after the course, you start working on it, or start applying it,
Mhm.
yeah, you start thinking how I can make use of this thing,
Mhm.
then only this information will retain with you,
Okay. Got it.
right?
Yes.
So learning domain, the best thing is to learn it
Mhm.
on the job.
Mhm. Got it.
Yes. Plus, domain is an ocean.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Got it.
it's literally an ocean. There are
Mhm.
so many things in each domain, each and every, even the smaller domains, there will be so many things that no one can learn each and everything
Mhm.
in a particular domain, right?
Okay.
You may know, or you may be aware of some things. You may be able to give a very good guess for many things.
Okay.
Yeah, you can be a subject matter expert, but domain will always throw one query at your face which you will not understand or which you will not know about.
Mhm. Got it. Mhm.
And that too happens very frequently. Every 2 months or 3 months, you will come across a new term or a new way of doing things
Mhm.
that you have not heard about previously.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working in insurance from last 20 years, but
Mhm.
still every day I learn something new about insurance also.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. This also happens. I was not aware of it.
Mhm.
Right? So
Mhm.
every day is a new learning
Mhm.
for a BA.
Mhm. Okay. So also, are there any paid certifications which a BA is supposed to do? Means by paid certifications, I mean like ECBA, CCBA, then CBAP, PSM, PSPO.
Yeah. So these ECBA, CCPA, CBAP, these are IIBA certifications
Mhm.
and highly recognized certifications in the BA market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But if you are looking for Indian market,
Okay.
then in Indian market, certifications hold very little value.
Okay.
Yeah, because most of the project managers who are hiring BAs in their team,
Mhm.
right, they are not even aware of these certifications. Only
Mhm.
BAs know about these certifications,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Plus, the knowledge that IIBA or certifications offer,
Mhm.
they are practical knowledge.
Okay.
No, they are not practical knowledge. They are theoretical knowledge.
Okay.
They'll only tell you about the ideal way of doing things.
Mhm.
Yeah. If you start applying that theoretical knowledge to your projects, you will get kicked out of the project very fast.
Got it. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just telling you the
Mhm. Yeah,
truth
yeah.
because that's all theory, right?
Mhm.
This IABA book will give you 60, 70 techniques, but the
Mhm.
only technique you are going to use ever in your project is in the interview technique.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So very few people are, masterful
Mhm.
or genius enough to apply this theoretical knowledge into practical knowledge and make use of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you want to spend hours and hours cramming up something and pay a lot of money to clear it,
Mhm.
and maybe ready to take the exam 2 3 times if you're not clearing it in the first go,
Mhm.
yeah, unless you're very super genius.
Mhm.
So uh, you you might not want to consider these certifications. Yeah.
Okay.
But if you can crack them, they are going to give you a very good boost in your resume,
Mhm.
if the hiring person is a BA person.
Mhm.
If the
Okay.
hiring person is a project manager, then he won't value your
So that
certifications.
means it's good to have, but not mandatory, right?
Yes, in Indian market. But if
Mhm.
you are planning to go abroad,
Mhm.
yeah, US, Canada, UK,
Mhm.
then it's better to have certifications because these are internationally recognized certifications for
Mhm.
BAs.
Also,
Yeah.
yeah, nowadays, since we are hearing a lot about artificial intelligence, right? So, what do you think
Yeah.
should be the approach of BAs going forward? I mean, like, how
Yeah.
should they enhance themselves in artificial intelligence and apply themselves in their existing projects?
Yeah. So let me first complete the certifications, right?
Okay,
So we only talked about IIBA certifications.
okay,
Yeah. Then there is a Scrum certification. So
okay.
you talked about PSM and PSPO.
Yes,
Yeah.
mhm.
There is also CSM and CSPO in the market.
Yes, correct.
So what happens is you take a 2-day course.
Hmm.
At the end of the 2-day course, they'll give you one exam, 1 hour exam or 1.5 hour exam.
Hmm.
You clear that exam and they'll give you the certification CSM and CSPO.
Okay.
And then you renew that certification on whatever frequency they are
Hmm.
valid for.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Second option you have is you study from one of the channels.
Hmm.
You study Scrum. It's not a big thing. It's earlier it was just 15-page document or 20-page document, but now there is a revised pack.
Okay.
I've not gone through that,
Okay.
but it's a small thing, and you go, you study,
Mhm.
and then you give the exam, and they'll
Okay.
give you PSM or PSPO, and that's a lifetime certification. Yeah, so it's
Okay.
always better to go for PSM and PSPO.
Okay.
PSM is for Scrum Masters.
Mhm.
PSPO is for product owners.
Mhm.
PSM will be a basic course. So
Okay.
that's why many BAs also go for PSM, even
Okay.
if they are not planning to go to Scrum Master role.
Okay.
Because PSM sets the basics.
Mhm.
Correct.
Mhm.
PO is an advanced certification. So people take PSM first and then they go for PSPO
Okay.
to see, where they stand. So if they are not clearing the basic exam, it doesn't make sense to take the higher exam. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's why people do PSM and then go for PSPO. So those are the agile certifications.
Okay.
There are other certifications in the market which are more or highly recommended or highly recognized,
Mhm.
which are I think the institute PMI also
Mhm.
offers a agile certification, right?
Okay.
AAC or something like that.
Mhm.
So there are many certifications in the market, right?
Mhm.
But even if you clear the certifications,
Mhm.
yeah, they will only help you get a interview call.
Okay.
In interview, no one is going to ask anything from the certification.
Okay.
Everyone is going to talk about your practical experience.
Okay.
How do you deal with client? What will
Mhm.
you do in this situation? How do you manage stakeholders? How do you elicit requirements? What is requirement elicitation? How do you, what ceremonies are there? So all these questions they'll ask you.
Mhm.
No one is going to, ask you, okay, what happened in chapter 7, or, how many techniques are mentioned in Babok.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the certifications are only good to enhance your resume.
Okay.
Yeah, in Indian context
Okay.
purely,
Okay.
because many BAs who are hiring other BAs, right?
Mhm.
They themselves are not certified,
Okay. Okay.
so they put very little value in that. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
So that's about certifications. Now you asked about AI,
Yes.
right? So AI is going to change the landscape of each and every industry,
Mhm.
as well as each and every technology
Okay.
that's out there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Till
Mhm.
5 years back, it was just, one of the technologies that's upcoming, or, people are talking about like blockchain or IoT and other things,
Mhm.
right? But now, right now, AI is the reality.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's going to take away jobs for sure.
Okay.
Market is already, going towards recession, or it's already there.
Mhm.
But AI is not going to help in the jobs at all. Yeah.
Mhm.
So what's important to understand is that AI is not going to take your job.
Okay.
The people who use AI are
Mhm.
going to take your job.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're not learning, so
Mhm.
not only it. right? If you're not upskilling yourself, if
Mhm.
you're not learning new things to, you know, in today's dynamic world, you are
Mhm.
not going to survive anywhere, right?
Okay.
So for example, if you are still using the old dial phone,
Mhm.
and you are not using a smartphone,
Okay.
will you survive in today's world?
No.
Because how will you make payments, how
Mhm.
will you book something, how will you call cabs?
Correct.
You it will be difficult for you to survive,
Correct.
right? Or have the same standard as your other colleagues.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, same thing applies to your work as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if gone are the days where they'll tell you, okay, this is how it calculates, you tally the numbers whether they are correct or not,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
Now the work is not like that, right? If you
Mhm.
can't talk to people, if you can't give results, no one is going to care about your work.
Mhm.
Yeah, or make or your career growth.
Okay.
So not only AI, but each and everything that you come across, you should try to learn it.
Mhm.
Yeah, even if you're not coming across it, you should try to upskill yourself on a regular basis,
Okay.
right? So don't think that I know everything. The moment you think that I know everything, I don't need to learn, that's the moment your career stops.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. So keep learning new things, be it AI, be it blockchain, be it IoT. Tomorrow, other technologies will come, right?
Mhm.
The technology is not going to end anytime soon,
Correct.
right?
Mhm.
So new and new technologies will keep on coming. Earlier there was waterfall, then comes agile, then comes a safe, which
Mhm.
is enterprise level agile.
Mhm.
Yeah, and tomorrow there will be so many new things.
Correct.
You have to learn. You have to upskill yourself,
Mhm. Okay.
right? And in today's world, there is no lack of knowledge.
Mhm. Correct.
What lacks is the enthusiasm to learn or gain that knowledge.
Mhm. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when I come back from office, I have two choices, right? One is watch Netflix, yeah, or watch
Mhm.
YouTube, and second option is to learn something new.
Okay.
If I opt for entertainment, then
Mhm.
I will not learn anything, right? But if I choose
Mhm.
to devote that time is not going not different for everyone, right? So your
Mhm.
finances can be different than my finances. Yeah, you may be
Mhm.
more rich than what how many amount I can spare. Yeah, but
Mhm.
time is the same commodity for everyone, right? Everyone has
Mhm.
24 hours. How you are
Mhm.
spending those 24 hours, that matter. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you
Mhm.
spend those 24 hours in entertainment, or do you spend those 24 hours learning something, or how much time you are sleeping, how much time you are giving to your habits, how much time you are giving to yourself? Everything matters, right? So the distribution of time is matters in what you learn and what you not. But
Mhm.
learning should not stop. Yeah. So maybe one.
Okay.
I'm not saying don't watch Netflix, don't watch YouTube. Yeah, I myself is I'm a gamer. Yeah, I spend a lot
Mhm.
of hours playing games, online games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'm not saying don't do that. Yeah, because for me it's a stress buster. Yeah. So after
Mhm.
spending the entire day in office, I want to feel relaxed. Yeah. For me that's more
Mhm.
important. But that doesn't mean
Mhm.
that you should not learn, right? So give half an hour to your entertainment, half an hour to learning as well. Yeah. But
Okay.
learn. Uh,
Mhm.
right now,
Yes.
AI is a new thing. So learn.
Mhm.
Don't think I need not learn. Yeah. So the moment you say
Okay.
I cannot learn, soon the people who will learn it will replace you. They'll because right now, uh, you know, uh, people are doing work like or giving results like anything within seconds. Yeah.
Mhm.
AI.
Correct.
So earlier, what used to happen is I used to, give say to a junior BA, can you create this presentation? Yeah, and BA used to say, okay, give me 2 days. Yeah, and BA used to bring some presentation to me, and I'm like, oh, can you make this change, make that change, right? I'll give some feedback. The BA will go back, make some more changes. Yeah, half a day will be lost in giving the feedback, and then they'll apply the feedback, and then they'll come back. So there will be 2 3 iterations, and I used to get the presentation in 5 days. But right now, I can
Mhm.
use PowerPoint itself to say, give me a presentation on this one, and it will give me a very good presentation with all the pictures and everything
Yes.
within 5 minutes. I need not
Mhm.
give the feedback. I can, directly give the feedback to AI, and I can say, okay, can you, extend this presentation like this, or, make this format changes, and instantly I'm getting the results, right? I need not
Mhm.
wait for the results to come back to me.
Mhm.
So what will junior BAs do? Yeah, if senior BAs themselves are using AI and generating
Mhm.
everything, there is no role
Mhm.
left for a junior BA, right? So a person
Correct.
who has learned AI has taken away the job of a person who has not learned AI.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
Agree.
So learn. There is lot of material available. So
Mhm.
go through everything. Yeah. So some of it will be useful, some of it will not be useful. So
Mhm.
uh, but in the end, what will happen is, when you expose yourself to same things again and again, right?
Okay.
Things will
Mhm.
start making more sense. You will start
Mhm.
remembering things.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, technology advancement is, so today's world is very, very much dynamic, right? Who would have thought
Mhm.
that Uber, uh, transport company will be competing with restaurants? So they have started
Mhm.
Uber Eats. Yeah. Amazon
Correct.
is selling insurance. So who would have thought that an e-commerce, channel like Amazon will be competing with insurance companies?
Correct.
Yeah. So right now, world is so dynamic. You don't know what will happen next.
Mhm.
Yeah, a few months back we were going at war.
Correct.
2 3 years back we were having a COVID. Yeah. So
Mhm.
some of the things we can control, some of the things we can't control. World is
Yeah.
dynamic, but what we
Mhm.
can do is to adapt the change, or
Mhm.
embrace the change. Yeah. The moment
Mhm.
you say, see, change, no one welcomes it personally.
Correct.
The better adapt, so the faster you adapt to the change, easier
Mhm.
it is for you as well as to people around you. Yeah,
Okay.
but if you start resisting change, you are going to make your life difficult as well as of others as well.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
be adaptive, you know
Mhm.
then only you can survive this dynamic world.
Okay. Mhm. Yeah.
So I
Got
was
it.
working in waterfall, right? So
Mhm.
for 10, 12 years, I was working in waterfall. And all of a sudden, got thrown into a project and they said, okay, write user stories. Yeah. And what
Okay.
I was
Mhm.
doing was, initially what I started with, writing my functional requirements within a user
Mhm.
story. Yeah. User
Okay.
shall be able to do this, user shall be able to do that. Yeah. So whatever I
Mhm.
would have written in a Word document, I started writing it in a user story template in Jira, or in the
Mhm.
tool, and I was like happy. Oh, I'm writing user stories now. Later on, I realized that user stories have a particular format you have to use as a user, so that,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
even
Correct.
when
Correct.
then. So it was much later, 1 year down the
Mhm.
line, I realized there is a format to
Mhm.
a user story as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
then I started adapting to it, right? If I would have continued writing my shell statement, yeah, I would not
Mhm.
have learned writing a user story. Yeah. And then I
Mhm.
would not have been able to ask people in the interview, how do you write user story, and whether, judge based on whether they are writing it correctly or not. If I myself don't know how to do that, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I would have still survived because of my domain knowledge, but I would not have, embraced the technology or the
Mhm.
latest changes. So you have to
Mhm.
do that. Yes. So
Mhm.
the moment I realized I'm not doing something right, I immediately, tweaked the way I'm doing.
Okay.
I was doing things. Yeah. But if
Okay.
I would have said no, this work, my old ways, will work, or they
Mhm.
do. Why do I need to change myself, right? Then
Mhm.
I
Okay.
would not have been able to grow.
Correct.
Yeah, with the
Mhm.
times.
Yes. Make
Yeah.
yes.
So
Got it.
does that answer your questions, or do you have
Yeah. Yeah.
something?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
thanks, Aman. Thanks for your time, and thanks
Yeah.
for asking these questions. I'm sure these questions are going to be useful for others as well. who may
Yeah, yeah.
listen to our conversation, and lot of can you hear me uh, on the YouTube channel. But yeah, thanks for the requesting this session. And if
Yeah.
you have any more doubts or anything else as well, I'm happy to take another session maybe
Yeah.
next week or
So going forward, you will be available next week as well, right, Shikha, for the
yeah,
session?
yeah, I will be.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. I'll let you know
yeah,
for the
sure.
next session what all we can cover.
Yeah, sure. Happy to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.